What's up? What's up, world? This is another episode of the Purpose Pod, driving you forward with power and faith. Man, I'm telling you, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're anyone who has a dream, this show is for you. This podcast is for you. Today is a great day. I want you all to get your coffee, get your popcorn, get your orange juice, get some water, put it all together and drink it. I'm just playing. Don't do that. But that would probably suck. But today is a great day. I'm so excited. We're going to dive into the education realm. We're going to dive into entrepreneurship. We're going to dive into life. And my next guest, Mandy Couch, is going to help us get there. She has impacted my life so much. I'm going to tell you guys about it when I bring on. But let me go ahead and bring on Mandy Couch. What's going on, Mandy?
Hello, hello.
Hello, girl. Hey, girl. Hey. I don't know why I do this. Hey, girl.
That's normally how we talk to each other, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, hey, girl, hey. Like, I just switch up. All of a sudden, I just switch into that role. It's almost like Kevin Hart. I don't know if you watch Kevin Hart a lot. You're very hip to a lot.
I was going to say, I mean, I live in the world.
I know you live in the world. I was watching the video when you had Cece, and that's her daughter. I was watching the video when you had Cece on your lap, and you said you had to introduce her to the old school, or you had to, what was it on Kanye West?
Classics, yeah.
The classics, yeah.
Kanye West, yeah.
I was weak. I was like, yeah, that's the classics, all right. Kanye West, man. So
I did another one earlier this week, and it was her dancing to the baby, and I said, "Baby on baby."
Oh, I gotta go get that. I gotta go make sure I share that too, because. You're hilarious though. Like, you're funny. I seen the other video where you had like the Baywatch stuff too. I was like, man, you've always been so funny, but you've also had the serious side too, like in the classroom, and you're just very real. And I think that's why I really, really love just being around you and everything. So we'll dive into all of that. People, I know they're probably like, what are they talking about? But so we have here Mandy Couch on the Purpose Pod. Mandy was my rebound teacher, like this rebound
teacher.
Rebound teacher. I like the rebound teacher, 49 a rebound program.
I was never your rebound.
You wasn't my rebound. She wasn't my rebound. She wasn't my rebound. Both married, but she was my rebound teacher. And that was because I was headed towards the front door of UNC Charlotte. And I'm very thankful for that. So we're going to dive into that as well. But I did want to go ahead and start off with the introduction by introducing you, Mandy Couch. And she's a new mom, first of all. She's the daughter of CC. She's the mother of CC. and Casey is your husband. So what happened with the whole CC Casey? Was that the whole idea behind it, Casey CC?
See, what, you get it. A lot of people don't. But
I get it.
I actually dreamed that her name was Cece, and I was having a hard time figuring out a name because all names I loved. I had a list of 42, and they hung on the refrigerator, and I thought one day it'll come to me, and I'll decide. And then so Casey is actually my husband's initials, but everybody thinks his name is Casey, Casey.
Oh.
And so I went ahead. So I wanted to call her Cece, kind of like a junior, kind of like a nod to her dad. But I went ahead and spelled it out because I know the problems that he has. And so she has
Catherine, right?
Catherine, Catherine Couch. And that's the Cece. And Catherine is after Casey's grandmother who passed, who also was an educator for like many, many, many years. And anyway, we're not talking about her.
It's okay.
No, I just don't know her whole thing, and I don't want to not do it justice. Is really what it is. Like, I don't want to like half honey it.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I'm a mom now.
Right. Yeah, you're a mom now. It counts. Like, Cece's gonna see this years from now, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, my mom's cool." Maybe she might think that. I don't know. I don't know.
No. Does anybody think I'm cool? Really?
I do. That's why I kept you around all these years. I kept you around. You didn't keep me around. I kept you around. I was like, oh yeah, I got to keep her around. I tend to have like good relationships with most of my teachers and stuff, and throughout my lifetime. So you find those key people that really, really stick out to you. You were one of those people. So I put you on the bandwagon with the best teachers in my lifetime. So like, I really do value you. So But so right now, so we're going to get into the family as well. I just wanted to give that quick intro on the family, but COVID-19 has thrown off a lot of our schedules, and we're doing things differently now. What has it done for you? How has it impacted your life?
So I am still working. I never stopped working. I'm just working from home. But when we got the stay-at-home order, CC was in private care. We had nannies, not because we're bougie like that, but out of necessity. It's really hard to get into daycare in Charlotte. There's waiting lists. And so people would say, our waiting list is 3 years long. Would you like to pay $250 to be on it? And I was like, no. And it got to the point where I had just started my job at Goodwill when the daycare situation blew up. And I thought, I'm just going to have to stay home, and you do what you have to do for your family. You do what you have to do for your kids. But that was weird for me because this is the purpose pod. It's going to sound like I'm being cheesy, but I do find purpose through my work. Right. And so I was just a nervous wreck because I thought I was going to have to quit my job. And then, with that means that I'm not pulling my weight at home financially. And it's not like, you figure things out. Everybody can, you figure things out.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be the person that's not upholding my end of the bargain. That's just, unless it's like we're on a soccer team, I'm not going to run that fast. Like that's
right. It's just like, unless we're on a soccer team, I ain't trying to run that fast.
No, put me as a goalie. But so she was in that care. But when we got the stay-at-home order, I felt like, okay, I need to keep her isolated at home with me and not expose her to extra stuff. And so I am working full-time, momming full-time, and wife and full-time, keeping the house, trying to do all the things. And then, we all have this, like, I'll say existential burden, but it's a very real burden, right? About all the things that are going on in the world and the worries in the back of your mind. Like if you have friends who are older or relatives that are older and or people who are in at-risk categories. And so even if you're not like actively thinking about it all day, every day, it's there. And then somebody said to me, I think they were trying to make me feel better, but me, I can argue any point. And so I argued them out of, consoling me, but they were like, well, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know how long the tunnel is. That's the tunnel.
I like that.
So I was like, that's why I'm having this anxiety because, right, a lot of the things that we're doing right now, they aren't sustainable long term. And I'm fortunate that my boss and most of my coworkers are given lots of grace to everybody, not just to me, but, across the board. Yeah. Very understanding, but and that's appreciated, but it doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't take away the stress. It just makes it just does give me, I do feel supported. I feel supported in my stress.
Yeah. I feel supported in my stress. You might have some shirts coming out after this. Feel supported in my stress.
Feel supported in my stress.
But that's a great place to be.
Yeah, it is. And some of it I do to myself, right? Like I'm always trying to do everything to the 100th degree. Like I don't, well, except for exercise, but I don't know how to just get by. And especially when it's something that has to do with other people. And so, I really take it seriously. And it's like, if I don't do this to the best of my abilities, then when I turn it into my boss and she turns it into her boss, and then he uses this to advocate for our community could be missing out on resources or whatever, because I didn't put my best work forward.
Yeah.
That sounds crazy and ridiculous, probably.
No, that's real. That's real, and that shows that you're being intentional about your work as well. Like you're not just one of those people that's like, oh, I got a job and that's that. Like you really are concerned about people's well-being, and I think that's what makes you you. You're very unique. Like you don't meet people like you all the time, except for when people meet me. But you know, you're very unique, you know, and your personality is just one for everyone to have in their life. Like, I think everyone needs a Mandy Couch in their life first and foremost, because you have this heart like that's like, oh, you know, I care about people. I'm also real, and I'll tell you the truth straight to your face. But like, you have this heart to serve and the heart to help. So I think that's just beautiful. I just want to plug that in there. You know.
Well, I'll just tell you, not everybody likes me. And I'm not for everybody. Some people, I don't know, I'm too much, I'm not enough, whatever. I'm not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll have to, I heard my dad DM'd you today. You'll have to ask him about how popular I was in school.
Yeah.
I mean, I was the weird kid. I didn't have friends. Books were my friends. I mean, I did have one good friend. Shout out Ashley Jones.
Ashley Jones, what up, girl?
What up? But you know, before I changed schools, I mean, people just didn't get it. I mean, some people did, you know, but for the most part, people are like, you're weird, you're this, blah, blah.
Wow. That sucks. So like that, you had that experience like in high school?
No, not in high school. Well, okay. I mean, I am always going to be myself, which is slightly towards the awkward of life.
I'm always going to be me.
But you know how I said I feel supported in my stress? The group of friends that I had in high school, I felt supported in my weirdness and awkwardness and my mandiness. And so that my group of friends, we still talk now. We have like this group chat, and I might be telling on myself, if you're not in the group chat, I'm sorry.
Somebody didn't make that list for sure. We know somebody didn't make that list now.
Well, you can't have everybody, right?
Right.
But you know, they will give me a hard time. Like, they'll reflect back, like, hey, remember when you used to carry a lunchbox as a person? You thought you were so cool. And so they give me a hard time, but they don't love me despite me being weird. They love me because I'm weird. They like all of me. I like all of them.
Yeah.
Because they have things that I could rag them for, and I do too. But so I felt supported in my weirdness with that group of people. And when I went to college, it was like, you know, I'm just gonna figure out who I am and be that on purpose. Like, I don't have to worry about, because nobody knows me. Like 2 or 3 people from my high school were there, maybe 5, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, people don't know me here. There's no expectations. I just full out 100% be myself, and I'll find my group. And if I don't, whatever. But you know, when you're younger, sometimes like, I was from a very small town, and then I changed schools and went to high school one town over, you know, big pimping. But
you said went to school one town over?
One town over.
Yeah.
But you know, you can't drive, you're location bound. You've got to be friends with the people who are around you, and then if there's no like-minded people, you're stuck. Oh, this was before the internet.
Oh, okay. So you took. I was wondering, because you didn't join any Facebook groups, you didn't join any meetups.
Yeah, I'm not on message boards or anything. That's what we used to have, message boards.
Was that during AOL?
This was before all of that.
This was before AOL.
I didn't get an email address until I was in like 9th grade.
Yeah.
And when did I have AOL? Yeah. Probably in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not before high school.
Times have definitely changed, huh?
I remember then we had one computer for the family, and we shared it. We had to take turns.
Yeah, we had the little desktop, and you know, you had the dial up. God, oh my God! And what about like the home phones, like attached on a wall, like with the cords on it? And then when you got the cordless one, that's when you were going places. When you had a cordless phone in the house. That's when you
you could go places.
Literally, you could go places. That should have been an advertisement. If we could go back, I would advertise that right there. So we talked about you being a new mom. We talked about COVID, and I wanted to ask you. I know your stance on this, but I just want to make it, because I have a lot of friends who might disagree with you. But Clemson or Carolina?
Oh, I went to Clemson twice.
I know. That's why I actually I wanted to lead into that.
Checks to them every month.
Yeah. So I was wondering, because I know is Casey. I saw Casey was wearing like a Gamecocks. Is he a Gamecocks fan?
And like not only that, but like his whole family. And his sister went to Carolina. His dad went to Carolina. His mom went to Carolina. So it's like a whole thing. His uncles, I think, both went there. His cousin Liz went to College of Charleston.
I mean, that's good.
A rebel.
Charleston.
Rebel.
She's, that's my area right there. Charleston, Somerville area. That's my area. So a lot of my friends are either with the Gamecocks or they're with the Tigers. So, and usually, I don't know. I know a lot of people like the Tigers. I don't know, but some people just love the Gamecocks as well. So, yeah, I never really chose which side I wanted to go on. So I'm pretty much an outsider and probably hated by both sides because I never chose which side.
You can dig in some archives and probably find pictures of me in Gamecock gear and Gamecock hats because in middle school and early high school, the boy that I liked and dated was a Gamecock fan. And so
that's how you drove your what you liked. You were like, oh, he likes it, so I'm gonna like it.
I didn't really care before that. My grandma went to Clemson for grad school. She liked it. My parents, they're Georgia fans, like through and through. My brother liked Georgia, but I remember he had like a big Florida State phase, like when the starter jackets were cool. I think he had a Florida State like half-zip starter jacket with the pocket,
Them starter jackets throwback too. We having a whole throwback call. Yeah, you got the landline.
A whole throwback. I'm like 10 years older than you are.
I mean, maybe. Are you? No, we don't need to discuss that now. I know you don't care. Do you?
37. I don't care.
You're not 10 years older than me. I'm 31. Come on, say wow. We was like pretty much in the same schools, almost. Not really, but So you going to Clemson? You went to Clemson twice. You got your bachelor's and your master's at Clemson. What provoked you? Because you did political science when you first went to Clemson, and then you got a master's in education. So, like, how did you map out your whole college career? Were you in the beginning where you're like, oh, I'm going to school for this, and then I'm going to do this afterwards? Like, how did that work out for you?
So I can tell you what you want to hear. I can tell you the truth.
Tell me the truth.
So at 18, my decision-making process was what it was, right? I mean, you're a child. I really wanted to go to Clemson, I think, because it felt like the schools you see on TV. You know what I mean? Like it felt like a real college experience. The campus is beautiful. There's, a quad, there's this, there's that, student union, all the things. And it was a college town. There's football. Like, I feel like if you wanted to, make a generic college movie, they steal the attributes from Clemson. I mean, it's probably a lot of places like Clemson, but I'm just saying, in South Carolina, the University of South Carolina was in Columbia, which is considered an urban setting. Look, South Carolina, we don't have much. That's a big city for us. But it's just different than Clemson. And if I was making, like, if I was trying to tell you how to choose to go to college or which one to go to, right? It's a financial investment. Right. You have to make like a well-researched, smart decision. Was Clemson the best school for political science? No. I mean, there were 13 people in my program. It wasn't even a popular program there. Yeah. Now, was it good and did I get a really amazing education? Yes. But I'm just saying, like, on paper, you go to Clemson for sciences, engineering, agriculture. They have this huge, education program and business program, but you probably gotta go way down that list before somebody's like, oh yeah, they do have political science.
That's not something that people search for when they're doing Clemson search.
Yeah, but I just always liked politics, and I had taken, like, in my high school, I got an award for social studies, and I don't know that it was like because I was like the best at social studies, but I think I had literally taken every social studies class and history class that they offered.
Wow.
That's just what I liked. It was what I was interested in, and I thought that. So my original life plan, I thought I was going to do that, go to law school, become a lawyer, run for Congress, be president. Like,
I can see that. I can see that road still there. I can see. She said, "You ain't seeing nothing."
Here's the thing: because I wanted the typical college experience at Clemson, there's a lot of people with a lot of stories about me having a good time, and I probably couldn't run for office.
So that's the thing holding you back right there. I got to go do some research now.
Hey, we didn't have Facebook till my senior year.
Y'all didn't have it. Y'all didn't have that. That's the other thing. I don't even know. That's another story. So
we had web pages.
Yeah, y'all didn't have what we have. So everything from like 2000, whenever Facebook came out is documented and recorded, and every mistake people made, their children, 14-year-old kids right now are watching my high school friends who are able to go back and watch my high school friends who was turning up, having a great time, turning over cars or something. Whatever you did, your children can now watch you. Everyone.
Yeah. Everyone. Reputation management can be a full-time job on top of being a mom and this and this. And so I just, I'm just not going to have the kind of reputation, whatever that means, that needs managing. I'm just going to be congruent in all spaces. And so, if you come up to me and say, I heard that you went to Harris Teeter last night wearing a T-Pain t-shirt, I'm be like, that's one of my favorite shirts. Like, I'm not embarrassed.
You have a T-Pain shirt.
Yeah. So it looks like a college shirt. It says Wisconsin. So he's going to put me in a mansion up in Wisconsin. Or is it a log cabin up in Wisconsin? One of those. But so most people don't notice it at first. They think it says like Wisconsin, and I'm like, why would you wear that?
Why would you wear a shirt that says Wisconsin on it? Who do you know from Wisconsin?
Nobody. Do you know anybody from there?
Hopefully nobody that is listening right now is from Wisconsin.
I feel like I probably have somebody who I hold very dear who's from Wisconsin who's like texting me right now. Like, I can't believe that you forgot where I'm from.
I can't believe we're BFFs and you don't remember where I'm from.
I mean,
I'm from Wisconsin.
They have cheese. I like cheese. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
But
so go ahead.
Oh, I don't know what I was gonna say.
Well, we were talking about Clemson, and we were talking about you choosing your major, your degree for political science at Clemson, and I was asking you like, what was your overall goal when you were going in? So you said you pretty much were like, I just want to go to this school that's popping, it's fun, college town, like that's where I want to go. This is the major I'm going to do. And then you went and got your master's after that, though. So like, it's not like you were like, oh, I'm done with school and I've had my college experience, I'm out. You went and got your master's afterwards. So what provoked you to get your master's?
So when I was a senior at Clemson, I was an RA, and the GA that was in charge of us, her name was Carrie Burns. She told me one day, she was like, why don't you make student services your career? She's like, you just seem to be a natural at this. You're really good at it. You like it. You care about people, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, education is not for me. I'm going to be the president of the United States, And so I think that I just had like, instead of like having self-awareness about what are my strengths and what am I good at, I just had this idea of what I was supposed to become or that I wanted to become.
Yeah.
And it wasn't based maybe necessarily in, what others saw as qualities in me. And so I ignored her. I pushed it away. And I had worked the summer before my senior year of college as an intern in a congressional office. And I learned that I hated it. And so then I was like, okay, well, now what? But I still liked politics. I still liked that whole thing. but I thought, well, if I'm judgy about it, let me be judgy and get paid. And so then I thought that I would be like a political analyst. And so I minored in communication studies, and I was going to do news. And so now my goal was to be on CNN because I can't do anything like small.
President. You got to go big.
President to CNN.
Yeah.
But so my first job out of college, I was a radio personality. I was a news director for 3 small market radio stations in Elberton, Georgia. And then I was, so I did the news, but I was part of the morning show, Ron and Mandy in the morning. And then I was like, Ron and Mandy in the morning. And then I did, the news and weather on the oldies. Oh, it was a country music station, by the way. You'll love that.
Oh.
And then I did the news and weather on the oldies station and what they called adult urban. So like grown and sexy music, auntie music. Okay. And
music.
you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Like Luther Vandross.
You talking about like the late night stuff.
Quiet Storm. Quiet Storm, but all day long.
The Quiet Storm.
And I hated that because, I felt like I was being nosy. It's a small town, first of all. And then when I'm reporting on the news, that, and whether it's like a small town or not, that's somebody's wife, that's somebody's child, that's somebody's something that you're putting on blast for everybody to hear.
Right.
And yeah, it's public record, it's public knowledge, but I don't have to contribute to that. And I didn't want to.
Yeah.
And so also I had to get up at like 4 a.m. I'm not really a morning person. And it paid peanuts. Like I waited tables at night.
Yeah.
And did radio in the morning, and then I slept like in the middle of the day. It was terrible. I had no friends. Except for the ones that I already had. You know what I mean? But
the ones that accepted you.
Yeah, I brought those over. But I had no social life there. I don't even know if there was a social life to have in Elberton. I had one friend. Her name was Megan, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Megan was in high school at the time. So I'm like 22, and my best friend is like 16. I could drive, and she liked going to concerts, so we would go to Athens to go to concerts together. But it just wasn't working. And so then I needed to do something different, and I had to just think like, what am I good at? And I was like, I was really good at school and extracurricular activities. Can I do that as a job? And I was like, oh wait, somebody told me one time that is what they thought I was suited for. Yeah. And so then I got a job in higher ed. I was fortunate that I got hired without a master's because it was a smaller institution. And it was a new position, right? So they were still kind of working out what they wanted from it. And then I started my master's maybe a year into that job. And it took me 7 whole years to get a 2-year degree.
Wow.
So I was working full time and taking classes where I could. And I quit several times, I think. And it was a thing. But
you understand the struggle of being a college student and a regular human being. You understand my story then. You understand me because I wanted to drop out so bad. Oh, and I kind of want to jump in that too right now since we're right there with your story. And a lot of people who are in college right now, maybe we have some college students at UNC Charlotte or wherever you are right now, and maybe people are thinking about going back to get their master's. It's been 7 years since they've been out of school, or it's been 10 years since they've been back to college. Do you have any advice for those people, like with the things that you've done already and how you made that decision to go back to get your master's? What are the steps that someone would need to take to go back to school to make that step back?
Well, the first thing that you'll have to do is take the GRE or the MAT, whatever's accepted at the school that you want to go to. There are programs that don't require it. And so if testing is a no-go for you, that's fine.
Yeah.
Find a program that first you can afford, second that works with your schedule. If you are a working adult, there are programs, both undergrad and grad, that are targeted towards working adults. and some that aren't. And and like when I went back to grad school, that program, it was in a cohort model and it was not geared towards working adults. And I mean, I'm trying to think, by the time Clemson was not the first place that I went. At first I went to Indiana State online. I transferred to Clemson and graduated from there.
Okay.
Because it was a counseling based program. Both programs were. And you have to take those classes face to face, and I couldn't get to Indiana.
Yeah.
I was poor. Help me, I'm poor.
Indiana.
So I transferred to Clemson and did that. But you know, at that point, I think I had like more than 5 years work experience. You know, maybe like 6 or 7. And I'm in class with 21, 22-year-olds who are fresh out of undergrad. And we are coming from very different places in life and, you know, have different responsibilities. I mean, I was single and I didn't have kids and stuff. And so I didn't have that, but, you know, I had a job and I had bills and, you know, just different things. And, you know, one time I remember I saw somebody's paper and they're like, yeah, I got like a C on that, but I don't really care. And I was sitting here thinking like, I take my money and my time to do this. Why would you do that and just settle for, I don't care.
For a C.
Now, if that's the best of your ability, yeah, C's get degrees. Who cares?
Right.
But if you're going to put the money and the time into it, put the effort into it too. Because Netflix is only $9 a month, and my couch is way more comfortable than those metal and plastic chairs in the classroom.
That's a good point.
You know, I mean, you don't have. There's plenty of things to do in life, and plenty of paths to take, and you know. But if you're going to put the time and the effort, you know, the time and the money into it, like I said, I think you need to put the effort. And if you don't have that right now, that's fine. Yeah. Maybe you'll have it later. And other things you can do before you commit to like an entire degree, which is, like I said, an investment, big financial investment. You know, you can take some like little classes or certifications or do like a graduate certificate program. A lot of times those are maybe like 12 to 15 months, but just make sure you look at one that the credits do count towards a master's degree. You don't, if a master's degree is your goal, you don't ever want to do something that you're paying for that doesn't get you towards that goal. In my opinion, that might not be everybody's opinion, but with student debt being what it is, that's my advice. Yeah. But if you are just trying to get some skill attainment, to maybe get a promotion in your job or to, you know, take the transferable skills you have and fill in that gap and move into a different field, you know, maybe just one class will help you. Maybe, you know, you can do, so your field is engineering. There's things that are like support type positions with engineering that maybe, you know, you can go and get like a coding certification or an A+ certification or a SQL certification and have like that kind of adjacent job while you're working towards your big goal. Or, you know, that might be the difference of a promotion. Yeah. And
so it's just working while we're working towards our degree, pretty much.
Yeah. And just, you know, you don't have to, I feel like people think that you have to be all or nothing, but you can do things in baby steps. Like I said, it took me 7 years to get a 2-year degree. I never repeated a course. It's not because I was bad at it. But that was the pace that I could handle. You know, I think one time I tried to take 3 classes in a semester and it was too much. I could only take 1 or 2 and still be a functioning human and make the grades that I wanted to make, right? You know, everything is a trade-off. I probably could have taken 4 classes, only made C's, and finished way sooner.
I wish I would have known that to do stuff like that in the beginning, because I was like, oh, let me just stack up full credit hour. I need full credit hours, and I might add an extra class, and then next thing you know, I'm over here suffering because I have 5 classes and 5 exams, and I'm not prioritizing, which is what we did in class a lot
was
too.
Was that the semester before I met you?
That was before. That was before. That wasn't after. You know, after I met you, I've been doing well. You know, I've been not even just surviving. I'm doing well, and I wanted to jump in here because I met Mandy whenever I was, like I said earlier, I was on my way out of UNC Charlotte, and I think I had dropped out at 2.0. Was it 2.0 for 49 rebound, or is it 2.5? What was it? Was I close to 2? Nah,
4. Low at 2.0, but I
don't even try to play me like that. Don't even try. We're gonna stay at a 2.0 right now, but
maybe it's below 2.5, or maybe
it was. No, it is a 2. It was a 2.5 for engineering thing, right, or something like that.
Maybe
no, I wasn't even in engineering. It doesn't matter. I was on my way out. I was failing miserably, because I wasn't prepared.
You were failing beautifully.
I was beautifully falling on my face at that point in time until Mandy was there, and I was. And I think what helped me was that I was older, like you were saying. So like you transitioning back into school, you're older. These 22-year-olds, you know, kids are not kids. These 22-year-old students are in class, and you're like, man, we have nothing in common. I've been through this journey already, and now I'm back here. That's where I was. I was like, man, I've been in the military, been overseas. Now I'm in this school with a bunch of younger kids. There's older people going to school as well. But, you know, you just think college is for like these young kids and, you know, your 20s. This is the time to reach for your goals. So when I found myself sitting in your class, I thought I was going to drop out again. Like I literally was like, man, you know, this is the last stop. But when I go back, I'm going to fail miserably. And that did not happen, thankfully. So could you go ahead and just explain to what the 49er rebound program was at UNC Charlotte, or is at UNC Charlotte?
Yeah, so 49er Rebound is a support program that we have in place to help people who are basically either on academic probation or in danger of being on academic probation. Mm-hmm. And because after academic probation is suspension, right? And so once you're suspended, there are pathways to come back, but it's really difficult and it takes time and it takes a lot of different things. And so we tried to have this program in place to make it where you could just rebound, you could come back. And, you know, a lot of what the thought process behind it was that maybe you're in that class because doing college just didn't come natural to you. It didn't for me either. I struggled when I first got to Clemson because I was, you know, academically talented at my high school, and I didn't have to study. You know, I did well on the SAT, asleep. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, it seemed like all those things came naturally to me. So I didn't develop the skills of like how to study, how to manage your time, how to do these things, because I didn't have to try at it before. And so when I actually was challenged, it was like, oh, whoop, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. And so they have a similar, well, I don't know if they still do, but they had a similar class at Clemson, and it's called CU 101, but it's for freshmen. So it's on the front end. So they try to give you those skills in the beginning. And I was like, I don't need that. Yeah. I was fourth in my class, and I'd be there like, I'm the best. Guess who needed that? I did. Wow. And so I was in it in the second semester. And so second semester CU 101 was sort of like 49er Rebound. So it was all of it.
So you were like me then. That's why our paths had to cross then. So and I know you mentioned that most of the positions that you've had are positions that were like made up, like they created it like right then and there. So that 49er Rebound program, was that always at UNC Charlotte, or did it come about during that year, or what was that like?
Oh, actually, that wasn't my job. I volunteered for that.
Oh, you volunteered for that job.
So my job, I was in assessment. Like it was my job.
You were in assessment downstairs.
Yeah, I was an administrator. Teaching was not my primary appointment. I just taught because I wanted to, and I taught that program because, you know, I was similar to you, and it had nothing to do with my academic ability. It had everything to do with my skills around my ability. I didn't know how to study. I didn't know how to take notes. I didn't know how to, like, I mean, I was a good writer, but I didn't know how to maybe like break down an essay and address all the points or answer it in the way that, you know, wasn't just, I'm going to throw in this detail right here because that lets you know that I know what I'm talking about. Like really, you know, critically analyze something. And so I had to play catch up and then get back on track. And so, you know, some people probably who went to high school with me or maybe were in my PhD program or in my master's program, they probably would be, you know, shocked to know that my undergraduate transcript is a little sad. But the reason I say C's get degrees is because I'm the poster child.
Yeah, you're the poster child for C's get degrees.
Yeah, I might have been a B- student, but it probably was a C+. But I mean, the thing is that after my third semester there, every semester after that, I had 3.0, 3.5. You know, I never had a 4.0 at Clemson. Except in grad school, I did. I got you back, Clemson. You didn't beat me. I won in the end. But you know, I also worked and volunteered and participated in extracurriculars and all the things when I was at Clemson. And so, like I said before, there's trade-offs to everything. So I probably could have had a 4.0 if all I did was eat, sleep, study. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted a different kind of college experience. And, you know, the stuff that I did outside of class led me to my path in life. And so thank God I did invest my time. Otherwise, I might have been a librarian if I, you know, only ate, slept, and studied.
I couldn't see you being a librarian. Like you have a lot of energy. I don't think you could be. I don't know. Could you? I mean, I guess you could. You could make it. You probably could adapt to it, but I couldn't see you doing that.
I mean, maybe I would be like in the loud library. Like maybe I'd have to have my own library. Library.
Right, the loud library, because you would. I don't think you would do good in a quiet library. I wouldn't either, but that's just me. And I'm glad you're sharing your story because a lot of people have been through that experience of struggling in college. And you know, when you see someone with a PhD, you don't think, oh, they struggled in college in the beginning, or you know, like you don't think that, you know. And then when you see someone with a degree, you don't think like, oh, they had a hard time studying, they had a hard time, you know, managing their time. But I found like when I realized why I was in your class, it wasn't because I was retarded or stupid or I couldn't get the information. It was because I wasn't taking the necessary steps to study, you know, read the syllabus right before. I felt really silly whenever we talked about the syllabus, whenever we went over the syllabus, and it's like, well, you know, you guys get the syllabus in the beginning of the semester. And I was thinking like, man, all this time from like, just in my younger years to now, I've had the game plan for the whole class semester, and I did not take the time to go ahead of the class and do my research, do my reading, and then I could be able to ask questions when we're going over it. Like, is that something that you know, like, I know you believe that we should do that, right? Like all students everywhere on every platform should be learning, like even in marketing, like if you want to be a good marketer, there's a game plan, there's a template for all of us out here, but a lot of us don't take time to, you know, look at it before we actually start investing time into our curriculums.
That was one of the modules that I created for that class. That wasn't one of the original ones, and I hope nobody in that program is mad at me that I went off script.
Yeah,
there were standard lessons that we were supposed to teach you guys, but that one about reverse engineering your syllabus, that was something that I created because I was like, wow, this is in here. Your learning outcomes are in there, which tells you by the end of this class, you should be able to X. And so everything that you read, everything that your lecture is about, all of the extra things in class, your discussions, your homeworks are all leading you to this final point, and they've told you what that is. And so you should know that with that in mind, that's how I have to frame everything that I'm doing. And then, you know, that's how you outline your notes. You know, the other place that has those like shortcuts or whatever, I don't know. beginning chapters of almost all your books have the learning objectives for the chapter.
Yeah.
And best practices say, so not all teachers do this, but they should. And I think most people do it now. Lectures, whenever they give you the PowerPoint for the lecture, probably the first slide is learning objectives or lecture objectives.
Yeah.
And so when people are like, I don't know what to study for my test, I'm like, yes, you do.
You got the learning objectives right there.
You just don't know that that's what that's for.
Yeah.
And so, like the lecture objectives, teachers make their test questions based off of those, because the lecture objectives go to the learning objectives for the course. Like it's like a tree map. It like all builds to the same thing. And so it's all there. Like you said, it's a roadmap. But I told your classes, and I'm not saying this to be shady, not all teachers are good teachers. And so it may not be as clear for some, or it may be non-existent. You know, that roadmap might only exist in that professor's head. Yeah. But, you know, we are responsible for our own education and our own destiny. So, you know, you can't expect that somebody gives you all the tools and gives you everything. It's nice that they do, and we appreciate it and we take it. But, you know, sometimes you have to fill in the gaps yourself. I mean, there's a whole library full of things that you can read, and there's a whole internet full of things, and Khan Academy and all these free resources. And, you know,
so a lot of people don't want to do the research or that. Like the hard part is going out and getting the information is out there. But I guess the hard part that we struggle with, and as human beings in general, like that could be anything. Like if you bought something from IKEA and there was instructions here, you know, you probably, I don't know what you would do.
And then trying to put it together.
You try to put it together. You're over here banging stuff together, you know, like doing different things. So you think it's going to work out when it really won't work out, because there's a blueprint right there. And, you know, what I struggle with, I guess, at UNC Charlotte, or even at ODU, when I was at Old Dominion University, I actually went to like 7 different schools in my my whole like college career. I went to University of Phoenix Online, ODU. I went to Thomas Nelson Community College, did paralegal studies. Like I was all over the place, right? So if I had those techniques that you taught us, and you voluntarily doing this, which is awesome. So I just think that's awesome that you volunteered to help people that are pretty much borderline about to be kicked out of school, you know. And I say kicked out of school because it sounds better, but people who have to discontinue their career in college. So leading on to this, I wanted to lead into purpose and ask you, what does purpose mean to you?
Well, you know, for me personally, my purpose, I feel like, is to help other people. You know, that's the thing that gets me out of bed in the morning, that drives me, that, you know, is the coal in the fire of the life of Mandy. It's like, what can I do to make somebody else's day better, make their life better? You know, help them see something that they are not seeing. But, you know, you have to be careful about that, because I don't know your story any better than you do. I don't know your life any better than you do. This is not Alan lives his life the Mandy way. Right. You know, you have to listen to people and, you know, help them tell you what they need. Because I'm not your savior. I'm not Spider-Man. It's not my job to save you. But if I can help you, like give you wisdom or share my experience, or just even make you feel more confident so that you can do it yourself, that's what I want to do. You know, I'm fine being, you know, like the sage mom, like, was it Chris Jenner? It's like, you're doing amazing, sweetie. You know, whatever.
just like the pat on the back, the motivator, and I mean, you do a great job, because you even reached out to me after I was in your class. Maybe it's a year later or a semester later, maybe. But remember when you connected me with the one student, and I went to lunch with him and we chatted. But you went out of your way to help him connect with someone else. So I just think that like when I look at you and like how your passion to help people, I see the purpose inside of you. Like you help bring people to their purpose. It's you're like a coach, mentor, so when you left UNC Charlotte, I was like, oh wow, this is a big step. That transition that you did was, was a big step. And a lot of people after 13 years of working somewhere or 13 years just being in a specific industry, and then to switch all of that, how was that? Like, was it easy? Was it hard? What was that like?
So it was one of those things where after I accepted the position and it was coming closer to my start date,
mm-hmm.
I almost threw up. I was like, what did I do? Because I really was putting myself out there. And, I had just had a baby. I was, switching fields. I was, going from academia to more of a corporate culture, which I had never been in before.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I messed up. Mm. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm going to fail, and it's fine if you fail, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not fine if you fail if you have a child to feed. So I was feeling myself. You can still fail. I'm just saying this was the pressure I was putting on myself.
Right.
And so it was like, I don't know how long into working at Goodwill, but it was before my 90-day review, before they made me a permanent, as permanent as we can be anywhere fixture. Yeah. My boss goes, you always are making jokes about how you're afraid you're going to get fired. Are you really afraid you're going to get fired?
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, look, in the realm of possibilities of the world, that is one.
That is one possibility I might face one day.
And it was in the back of my mind, right? Because it was like, I stepped out and took a risk, and there's somebody dependent on me now.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had just never been in that position before. And, I'd always worked for, these institutions of learning that had been there forever. And so there's this, kind of sense of job security with that, because it's like, when I worked at Clemson's been there since the 1800s.
Yeah.
I doubt anything I do at work is going to make Clemson go away.
Right.
Right. And so there's a certain security there. And then, but where I felt stressed there is you said that I helped you in your life. I had that pressure when I worked at colleges and universities. Like, if I do something wrong or say the wrong thing, I could ruin somebody's life.
Yeah. That's true.
But now in the nonprofit world, it's like a dual thing too, because we are funded through donations and grants and the revenue from the stores. And I am just very conscious about being a good steward of those funds. I don't really spend any money. I don't have a budget, but I'm just conscious of, there's a lot of stuff riding on what we're doing, and I've got to make sure that I'm doing the best that I can. With the resources that I have. But I really was just every day was like, oh God, today I'm going to get fired.
Yeah. So that fear could usually either drive people to getting fired or drive you to do better so you don't get fired. So I guess you're still in the game. So I believe you've been doing a good job.
Well, I mean, I was probably a little crazy at first, because I just, what does your shirt say? Never stop, never
quit, repeat.
Yeah, mine was never rest, never eat, repeat.
Never rest, never eat, repeat.
Yeah. So, I had to find balance, right? And you said earlier something about somebody having a PhD. I started one. I have not finished it.
Oh yeah, you still have what? Are you doing the one class thing or what?
No, I quit. I took a leave of absence, and I don't know if I'll go back or not. Right now, the way I feel about it is I got more than I can handle. And I'm trying to figure out, I'll just phrase it. I'll just be honest. You can spend your time however you want to spend your time, right? Mm-hmm. And for me, we created this family together on purpose, mm-hmm. and that's where I want to spend my time. Mm-hmm. And so it doesn't mean that, you know, getting a PhD isn't, you know, doesn't mean the same thing to me, but it's not a priority right now.
Yeah.
Right now, where I want to put my effort, where I want to put my time is with my family. And so it was just like, do I really want to sit in class, you know, 4 or 5 hours a night, 2, 3 nights a week, and then do a homework and, you know, spend my weekends writing papers? Mm-hmm. I don't. Right. And I'm a nerd. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, my daughter's adorable. You've seen her.
Yeah, like, I've seen her.
I want to be with her, you know?
Yeah.
My husband is fun. I want to be with him. Our dogs, whatever. But
you got 2 dogs too.
Yeah. They drive me crazy. But, you know, it just was, my priorities just changed. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I'm still going to be a lifelong learner no matter what. Our jobs gave us access to LinkedIn Learning. And so, like, I'm going to learn some SQL. I'm going to learn some coding languages. I'm going to learn, you know, because who knows what the future will bring.
Dive into different things.
I'm going to amass the skills that I think that I need to take me to the next step or keep me employed. Like, you don't ever want the train to leave the station without you on it. So.
Without you on it, yeah, that's a bad day right there. And then now you're at the bus station with everybody.
I'm just waving. They're all going.
Waiting. So I wanted to ask you, because like you've experienced the both sides. So you've been a student, you've been an educator, you know, and now you're in the nonprofit side. And you know, we all go through life and we don't see the end picture at a lot of times. We don't see like, oh man, you know, in 2022, I'm going to be at this place and life is going to look like this. Like, I literally don't have any idea what's going to happen. No one really does know what's going to happen in their year. Like, we plan, I'll graduate in 2020 and I'll start working, but it might not. Like, think about the graduates right now. A lot of people weren't able to go into their careers after graduating right now. So my question to you is, you know, there are people here who are over the age of 20 and maybe they went to college, dropped out, you know, and they started a career. And maybe they went to college and they're at their career, they're at a school and they're teaching, or they're a guidance counselor, or they're doing something, right? But now there's this shift and they're feeling like they want to leave, but they're afraid. How do you get over that fear of leaving, you know, what's secure, you know, your security, and going into something else that you've never done before?
Well, taking a risk is a privilege, and it's a privilege that's not afforded to everybody. You know, I couldn't have done this prior to being married, right? Yeah. When I was single, there was no way I could have done that because I had all the bills and all the responsibilities myself, and I didn't have anybody to share the load. And so, you know, before I made this shift, you know, we made that decision together, because if I did fail, I told him, I was like, look, I'm never not going to work, but I might have to work at Home Depot for a while until I figure out what I'm going to do if this doesn't work out. So, but, you know, there are people who don't have the privilege to take that risk for whatever reason, right? Maybe they have bills and responsibilities, no safety net, no support system. Yeah. And so, you know, I'm not saying it's impossible. I just want to point out that there's an equity thing there. And so not everybody can do it. And so I don't want to be like, yes, chase your dreams. Yes, you can do it.
Leave your responsibilities. Leave your
Don't
kids.
worry about how you're going to pay for it. Everything will be fine. And it's like, maybe it will, maybe it won't. And so you have to really ask yourself, can you take the risk to do that? If you can't, like, you can't jump in with both feet, that's fine. Maybe you can dip your toe in, you know? Right. Maybe you can take some free learning tool thing. Like, I think LinkedIn Learning you have to pay for, but I mean, there's like Udacity. There's since we've been on stay-at-home orders, like a lot of institutions have been offering free classes. Like I think Harvard had some free classes, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you have some kind of desire and it's something that you can do part-time on the weekend. So like, let's say you today decided, I'm going to take all these engineering skills and I want to be a baker.
Yeah.
I just want to make wedding cakes.
Yeah.
See if there's a bakery that'll let you come, get some experience one Saturday a month. Or, they have free classes at Hobby Lobby where you can learn cake decorating. Find the path, find the way, find the resources, but don't think that if you can't be all in, that you can't do it at all.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And, there are places that offer free job training. Goodwill is one of them. We have, what we have is the Goodwill University. And there's some classes that give you nationally recognized certificates. Others maybe just give you, skill attainment to fill in some of those gaps, maybe for things that, you need to get to that next step. And then some of them are like a whole thing, like you can learn construction, you can learn HVAC, you can learn whatever. Because it probably is realistic that there are people who are older and aren't doing what they want to be doing. Because, right, I told you, I went to Clemson and I picked political science for what now to me feels like arbitrary reasons.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't real.
The trajectory of my life started because I had seen Animal House or something and wanted to go to a school that was fun.
Yeah. seen a claw.
That could have been really bad. Luckily for me, it worked out.
Yeah.
But we've all the choices that we've made in our life were only based off of whatever information or whatever resources we had at the time. And so fast forward 5 years, you're in a totally different place.
Right.
And you may want to do something different then, and that's fine. I think that it's okay to want to do something else, and it's okay to indulge that. You just have to do it in the way that works best for your life and that you're comfortable with and doesn't, overextend you too much.
Yeah. And I think that's how social media can get in the way at times because, I see Mandy, she's going back to school. She has a kid and a husband now, and they got dogs. And, Mandy is a mom and she has all this time, right? So maybe I could go back to school and do what she does, but they don't know like the process in which you're doing things. They don't know how like you may be taking your time. You may be taking that one step, putting your toe in there, or the career change. It was like, you don't just do it without talking to your spouse, and making sure that they understand that you understand, what could happen. So I just think that's powerful that you were able to make that change. So shout out to Casey for doing that. What up? Yeah. That's supportive though. That rocks. That should make you happy that your husband was like, yeah, like let's get it.
Yeah, there are times when like we are, like any couple where you're just like, man, you're almost more like a brother and sister who are on each other's nerves in the backseat of the car on family vacation.
Yeah. Like me.
You don't know what that's like, do you?
I know what it's like.
But really, he is like the president of the Mandy fan club. Like he's a big hype man for me.
Yeah.
Like, he does bring some reality into my world because I'm silly and imaginative and creative and say all the weird stuff, but sometimes he'll say, how people are going to see that, right? But then there's other times where he's like, I think you should go for it, And so, right, if he blindly supported me 100% of the time, there's no way it would be real, and then I probably wouldn't respect him. I would be like, ugh.
Yeah.
So, I like that he can keep me in check because I am a person who needs to be kept in check.
Come on, Casey. Keep me in check, baby.
Because I am just over the top sometimes and silly sometimes, but I think that, you know, he gives me space to be myself, but he's there to help even things
pull you
out.
back in. That's how Amber is. You should see Amber with me. Like, I'm like all this, all over the place. I might say something random, do something random. And she's like, Alan, it's okay. Come on back. Come on back in. So, but
my
you know,
favorite is we'll be out and we'll see someone who looks very eccentric. And I'm just like, yes, I am going to talk to that person. And I'm not saying this out loud. It's nothing, but he'll see that twinkle in my eye and he'll go, don't even look at them. You know how this goes. You start the conversation. Then this person, we've like adopted them for the night. They belong to us. You get bored and I have to sit with them. Like, do not engage. And I'm like, okay.
Do not engage. Stand down.
But it's a man with a parrot on his shoulder. Please, I have to find out why he has a parrot on his shoulder. Please.
So I feel like your personality has equipped you with the ability to adapt in different environments. So like if you're in a classroom setting or if you're in a meeting setting or, you know, like I think that's why you were able to make that transition as well. I mean, because some people, if they're not a people's person for one, and, you know, you're making this big career jump, it may be more difficult for a person to make that career jump whenever they're an introvert because they're not so open. But I mean, it's possible. I just don't know. You know, so for you, do you feel like your personality opened those doors for you to adapt in those different environments?
Well, I think that there's a couple of things. Like, yeah, it's probably my personality, but I think too is that I don't know when this kicked in, because to be honest with you, I haven't always felt this way. But at a certain point, I became pretty confident in what I have to offer and what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
Right. And then I know what I am not good at. And I don't care if you also know. And so I'm not afraid to look dumb in front of people. I'm not afraid to ask stupid questions, you know, whatever. And that also probably has a lot to do with the privilege that I carry around with me every day, right? Like, I look a certain way. I went to college. I have a master's degree, People probably give me more grace than they give other people. I'm not saying that everybody can be this way, but, you know, so I am comfortable being wrong and owning it, because you can't learn and you can't move forward if you've never been wrong, right? But I haven't always worked for people or with people who can support that. And so, you know, I do feel like, so a lot of the stuff that I'm doing is new. It's something that, you know, even as a field, you know, social impact and social return on investment and that sort of thing, it's kind of like emerging. And so I'm gonna have to try things and make mistakes, or the things that are like best practices right now, it's just because it's the best guess, or it's applied, you know, theories from another field or whatever. But I mean, I just will have candid conversations with my boss and say, look, here's where I'm stuck, or here's what I think, but here is what somebody else says. How do I bridge that gap for us? You know, whatever. And one thing that I'm having to get used to, that I like to do everything complete, thorough, perfect before I turn it in. And I'm having to learn like how to accept that my first draft is out there. And that this might be an iterative process. And so I may have to just do something and wait for people to say, nah, girl, that's not it. And then go back and fix it. And I'm like, But, you know, education moves a little bit more slowly. Research moves a little bit more slowly. But I'm in, you know, a field that is trying to innovate and progress and move forward, because the world is changing really quickly. And we have to change to be ahead of people having needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm learning to be a little bit more comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's good though. I mean, just adaptability, like being able to adapt, is key. So you said that it didn't always work out, and with everyone. So everyone wasn't always open to Mandy's world.
No.
No, just mainly students. I'm just wondering.
Well, a lot of times that's why I liked teaching, because I felt like I could be myself in the classroom.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I had imposter syndrome in some of the spaces that I was in academia, or other people are insecure, so they need to kind of put you in your place. It's not a lot of people who are willing to admit that they're wrong in certain spaces, because it is a small community overall, and one gaffe could be the end of your career. And so I just don't like that. I mean, we're humans.
Yeah.
We're all going to make mistakes. I mean, I was going to tell you some of mine, but there's a lot. I mean,
no, we gotta see those on this flying. Yeah, well, I mean, if you want whatever you want to share, like things that you struggle with, or even things that you made mistakes in, but because the whole part about the process of purpose is that like there's the failure, there's the oh my god, like that was silly, and then there's the oh look at Mandy, like is not that you've arrived at a place yet, is that you're in the process and you're living out a purpose. So whatever you want to share.
It's like you said, it's a process, and I don't know if I'll ever be done, right? I don't know if I'll ever be my final form, because I am always wanting to grow and to change and to learn and do different things. I mean, recently I've been experimenting with my style, and I'm trying to have, a different way that I dress. And who knows why? I don't know. It's fun. Right. But I know that some of my friends will send me like links to stuff, and they're like, this looks totally like you. And I'm like, I haven't worn bright colors in probably a year or two.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing something different now. But for what they've known for me, it was like, you wear bright colors and you wear mixed match patterns and you do this, and that's Mandy. And it's like, I don't know. Mandy 2020 and Mandy 2021 might be totally different. Mandy 2021 might have black hair. Who knows?
Oh my god, I gotta see you with black hair. I don't know. You ever had black hair before?
Yeah,
send me the picture. I gotta see that.
But I mean, and I think that we're not all willing to take those risks, or be vulnerable enough to say, you know what I'm doing is not working for me. I want to do something else.
Yeah.
Because we have expectations for ourselves. Other people have expectations for us. And, you're trying to make everybody happy, and the only person that's not happy is you. And I mean, I've been that person many times, to where it's like, what am I doing this for? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
But it's because I thought that that's what I should do, or what I was supposed to do, or whatever, like paying bills. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we all do. But, even if it's small changes that you can do, like, just because somebody invites you out doesn't mean you have to go.
Right. Exactly.
Or, how we'll tell those little lies like, oh, my grandma's sick. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So now I'll just say, look, I want to come and I want to see you, but I have anxiety, and the thought of leaving my house right now makes me want to cry, and so I'm going to cancel on you. I just tell the truth, because when somebody's making up a lie to get out of something, and then you take it personally. Right. It's never personal. It's usually just, I'm lazy, or I have anxiety and I don't want to do it. So, I try to be like I know I'm only a little bit older than you, so you've seen 8 Mile?
Yeah, I've seen 8 Mile. Of course I've seen 8 Mile.
I love it. So, at the end, when he's doing the final rap battle, he goes ahead and lays everything out. And so he's like, yeah, I live in a trailer. Yeah, I live with my mom. Yeah, my friend shot himself in the foot. Yeah, I don't have any money. I'm white trash. I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah.
And then when it came to the other guy's turn, he didn't have anything to say.
Yeah.
And so I'm not trying to, say all the negative things about myself, right? Like, I'm not going to be like, yeah, I wear mixed match socks. Like, who cares? It's the same consequence. Well, I match them. Nobody sees them.
Yeah.
But the thing is that if you are honest and transparent about who you are, you can live a better life. Like, if you're not lying, nobody has anything to use against you. And if you are honest about yourself and honest about who you are, you don't have to worry about like that imposter syndrome. You don't have to be afraid to be found out.
Yeah.
You don't have to live in this place to where you're making choices out of fear, or you're holding back out of fear. And I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it anymore. And I mean, I'm not doing anything radical. I mean, I sit at home most of the time. It's not like I'm like, I finally was able to go and be a burlesque dancer. It's like, no, I mean, I'm finally just able to say, I'm boring. I like sitting at home. I like doing nerdy stuff. I have a metal detector now. I like going to find treasures.
You said you have a metal detector now? I got to see you out here.
Oh, God. It's so embarrassing. But you know what? Yeah. I like finding treasure or trash or whatever. It's exciting to me. I'm just going to own it. You know, and so if I don't live in a place of I don't want to be found out, or I'm scared to be embarrassed, then I can just live. I can breathe. I can just be myself. And so, you know, sometimes I also feel like my purpose in life is to like kind of preach that for people or in groups. And so a lot of times I'm like the first person who just goes ahead and says like, yeah, I'm not feeling good today. Or, you know what? This sucks. I'm stressed. Because I don't know. We have this thing, and I don't know if it's everybody or if it's in the South, but that we're supposed to be, or maybe it's women. Who knows?
I think it's everywhere.
You're supposed to always be together and fine. And I'm not trying to whine. I'm not trying to complain. I just want to be honest, and I just want to be real.
Yeah.
Lying gives me diarrhea. I don't want to do it. It makes me stressed, and it makes me tummy.
She said lying gives me diarrhea.
It does.
You're so funny.
You know you've had stress belly before. You know
I mean, I've been maybe like cold belly or something. I don't know. Like this is cold now. My stomach hurts or something. But never lying. I feel like a super demon now because I've never had a stomach ache because I lied.
Oh, well, you may also not have anxiety. Like I mean, when I say have anxiety, like clinical, like diagnosed, take medicine for anxiety. Not like I have anxiety because I'm stressed. I got butterflies in my tummy. No, like I have panic attacks and stuff.
But you were saying you're saying like real stuff, and I love what you're saying because I believe in that as well. Like I've started telling people no when I got to tell them no. You know, like if I'm going to tell you yes, I got to just make sure that I'm going to do it, you know, but I'm not going to tell you no. I mean, I'm not going to tell you yes just to make you feel better. You know, like, you know, what we had an interview and we were supposed to do an interview earlier and you're like, hey, I got to, you know, do some things. I was like, okay, cool. Didn't take it personal. I was like, we'll get back to it. Right. You know, but in society nowadays, it's really hard or difficult to be yourself. And I think a lot of people are getting tired of being fake. You know, like if they're tired and they don't want to hang out with people, it's like, look, I'm staying in the house. My wife, she's actually a great, like she's great because she'll be like, look, I don't need anyone. I can just sit in the house and do my work and, you know, do my grind. And I don't have to pretend for anyone, you know, and for me, like coming out here doing motivational speaking and the podcasting, like I cannot put on the front. I can't put on the front like this guy that's like, hey everyone, welcome to the Purpose Pod. And like I'm just all like this, well put together guy. No, I'm this goofy guy that wants to have a great time while pushing people towards their purpose and inspiring people to find their purpose. And that sounds like your story too. So that's why maybe you should be a co-host on the Purpose Pod.
Or a substitute. I don't want to have to think.
But you like volunteering for different positions, right? Go ahead and volunteer for that position right there.
No, I'm very proud of you because I told the story earlier about how somebody told me what they thought my talent was, and I vividly remember doing the same to you and saying, you don't need to be an engineer. You need to be a motivational speaker. Right. You need to do mass comm, something. You're wasting your talents being an engineer. And you were like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna be an engineer. I was like,
no, I'm good. And you know why? And even though I'm like 3 classes left. I had 3 classes left, thank God. But like whenever, I think it was a couple of months, or no, right when COVID-19 happened, right? And we made that big switch to working at home. I struggled so much. I could not. It was just I don't like working at home in general, like just doing homework and stuff. Like I have to be outside or somewhere else. I cannot just work in school is not good for me. Like just working inside of a building was never like, I wasn't designed for that. Like sitting down, like, okay, I got this. That was never me. I'm very like, I need to be out somewhere outside. Let's go outside and have class. That's me. But yeah, so like
cut out for the nerd life.
Like yeah, I'm not cut out for the nerd life. But how you were saying, like, we do things to please people a lot of times, and a lot of people become engineers. Like there's some cultures and families that make their children do engineering, and there's no like, oh, but mom, I want to go help kids over here. I want to go do a youth program. A lot of people are stuck living a life that they did not sign up for. So, for you to make that transition, that switch in your career, I think that's just a sign for all of us that it's possible to do that. Like, we don't have to just, you don't have to work the next 20 years of your life at the job that you don't want to work at. But, you do have to have you got responsibilities. Like you said, we have bills, you have family members. So prioritize, but take those steps to get out of the place that you don't like being in, so.
Or, I mean, I'm not trying to contradict what you're saying.
No, go ahead.
I think that there's also another thing to it. And so let's just say that you have to work this job because that's all you're cut out for. Or this is the only job that pays the type of money that you need to live your life. Your work can just be work. It can just be how you pay for the rest of your life. And so if you don't find purpose through your job, you can find purpose outside of your job. It could be volunteer work that you do. It could be a podcast that you have. It could be a book of poems that you wrote. It could be, nice. That's his book. I'm not plugging myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could tell. That's not me. Yeah. Your purpose could be your family. Your purpose could be being an awesome partner for your significant other. You don't have to make your job your passion. Some people, job is just a job, and that's fine. Like sometimes I wish mine was, because then I wouldn't have to like be up at night worried about the weight of the whole community is on my shoulders.
Yeah.
So I don't think that that's the only way. And so if you can't get out of your job, you can't take a new life path, maybe you can get a new hobby. You can get a metal detector. Come join me. We'll go find some treasure. Maybe you want to volunteer, or, if you're a person who attends church, maybe there's a way you can get involved with groups at your church. You used to lead a group of veterans, like a support group, but not like so official, right? Like it was you tell me.
Reboot.
Yeah.
Reboot. Yeah. Combat PTSD veterans.
And so, there's plenty of places to find purpose. It doesn't necessarily just have to be in your work, and it doesn't have to be something you share with anybody else. You might write a beautiful journal that no one ever sees.
Yeah.
Or, you may, make up songs in your head that could change the world, but if you don't want to sing them, that's fine. You don't owe anything to anybody. You don't have to share any of that to people, but if that gives you purpose and that makes you feel good, have at it.
Have you ever had the idea, and great points by the way, but have you ever had the thought of man, if I could just drop everything and live on a beach or in the mountains, whatever you prefer, or both, but have you ever had that if I could just drop it all and just be with my fam and friends and just live like that, that'd be great.
I just wonder how long it would last. Yeah. Before I'm organizing the coconuts or something.
Juggling the coconuts.
It's today I'm going to learn how to blah, 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 blah. I don't know if I'm cut out for a total life of leisure. Now, don't get it twisted. I love to lay around and watch television.
Me too.
But I do need to find some kind of way to feel a sense of accomplishment. And so, but I actually did almost sort of kind of get that opportunity right before I took the job at Goodwill. So I applied for and was accepted, offered a position to be a dean at a school on a remote island in the Pacific that it takes 24 hours and a ferry or two to get to.
Wow.
And we really considered it. It's a place where, so there aren't guns there, and so gun violence isn't a thing. We thought it would be that, that's a great place to raise a small child. Very community oriented, and I like to eat fish. KC likes to do things with his hands outside and yada yada yada. And so we had that opportunity, and it was a thing we could totally reset.
Yeah.
It didn't pay enough, because the thing is that we did have a whole human that we're responsible for, and I would have had to. They'd make you sign contracts, because I think it takes a lot to get people over there, and so I would have had to have been there for at least 3 years, and we didn't want to give up our house here. Yeah. So that when we came back, we weren't, if we came back or whatever, that we weren't starting from nothing, or, and plus we worked for this. We like it,
right.
That's ours.
Yeah.
But yeah, we couldn't afford to pay Charlotte bills on remote island salaries. So.
Right. Yeah, you would have to leave it all. You would have been on some TV show or something. You would have had your own TV show, living on a remote island with my hubby and my daughter, and you probably would have took your dogs with you too. So, but I think that's pretty interesting to have a remote island.
Ken, how would I survive?
I don't think you would have survived. Do you get tans?
One time I thought I was tanned, and I just needed to wash my face. I was dirty.
Yeah, you repel something.
Yeah, I go outside and people have to put on sunglasses because I'm blinding.
You're ridiculous. I think you need your own show though. I want you to have your own show so I can watch it and laugh, because I just want to see you just unwind and talk about stuff that you like and just joke around and stuff. You're pretty funny. So, but yeah. So we're on an hour 29. This is crazy. So thank you, man. Thank you for your time. I really do appreciate all that you do. Is there anything that we could do to support Goodwill or you or anything else? Is there anything we could do? Donate clothes maybe, huh?
I mean, always, all your donations really do go towards helping, directly helping people. The revenue that we raise from the clothes that you donate goes to job skills training programs. So, and that's one of the things where if you are going to invest in, that's such a long-term change for people. You can really change the trajectory of someone's life when you can give them those skills. And so you putting, a pair of Jordans in the donation box really does have a positive effect. And then, that has an effect on our whole community. The more of us that are employed and contributing to society in whatever way that we want, more people are happy and productive and all the things. So definitely donate. It's in the services that we have. There's some kind of like misconception about that you have to maybe be at a certain income level to qualify, but anybody can utilize the resources and services that we have. And so if you did want to do Alan's plan and, take your life into your own hands and make a big switch, we have career coaching and things that can help with that and help you to, feel supported as a job seeker and as someone who maybe is trying to transition into a new career. All about empowering people to do the things that they want to do. So
and that's what I want to do. I want to do what I want to do, not what I have to do, I guess. I was about to say I want to do what I want to do, not what I have to do. But then again, that would make me. And then for closing purposes, I want to take the time to personally thank you for just your impact on my life. And if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have the Purpose Pod. I wouldn't have written my book. I wouldn't have been finishing college. So it's just like you actually were a pivotal point. And I was thinking about it before we got on the podcast. I was like, wow, like really, if it weren't for you, because who knows who would have been there or if that was there or, whatnot. But, you gave me the experience that I needed and, you kept up with me afterwards. So it's like, I could hit you up and be like, hey, I'm struggling here. I'm having a hard time here. You've always been there for me. So I wanted to thank you personally for your impact on my life. And I know that you're going to take other people to new heights. And I'm excited to see what happens in your life and your family's life and your dog's life as well. So thank you so much.
You did all the work. I just made you feel supported. I supported you in your stress.
Yeah. Oh, come on. We need to write that down. Hold on. Support and stress. You said something else earlier. I was like, man, this is going to be good for a shirt. But
I think that's what it was. I felt supported in my stress.
Well, no, there was something else you said too, but I didn't write it down. I wanted to write it down.
You'll get it.
Well, I'll play it back. You're so right. Oh, God, see, that's why you're so smart. But
all the hard work was yours. All the talent is yours. I just made you feel supported to do the thing that was already inside of you.
That's true, and I needed it because if not, we wouldn't be here today having this discussion, and I would probably, I don't know where I'd be right now. So I don't even want to think about it because I literally was about to be destroyed. If I would have dropped or if I would have gotten kicked out of school that time around, I think I would have just been destroyed as a human being because I went through that process of dropping out of school before, failing classes, struggling in classes, not being able to understand the material because of the way I was approaching the material. So if we never had our encounter, I would have just been struggling for the last 2 years that I've been in school, so just thank you so much. And yes, you gave me the tools I needed to get through, this school. So, if you could, in the military, they have people that pin your rank and stuff like that when you get new rank. So if, when I walk across the stage, maybe you could come up there and do the Millie Rock with me or dance with me. Put on my, there you go.
I'm trying to watch myself here, and it's backwards.
It's backwards. You gotta.
I just need to just let the dance come through me and not even worry about it.
Yeah, just let it go. But but thank you so much, and tell Casey thank you. Tell Cece thank you. Tell the dogs thank you. Tell your father thank you. Me and her father connected as well, people, just to let y'all know that we are now friends on Instagram and stuff. So we're connecting. But yeah, Mandy, have a great day. Enjoy your weekend, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So this has been another episode of the Purpose Pod, purposely driving you forward with power and faith. That was Mandy Couch. She gave her story about traveling through Clemson, going to Clemson, and the struggle that she faced in Clemson as a student her first year. So like if you ever have a doubt in your mind that you are incapable of doing what you desire to do, you need to go back to the beginning of this video and watch this all over again, because it is possible for you to achieve the goals that you are setting forth for your life. And don't give up on yourself because you're facing difficulties. You may be dropping out. You may be on the verge of dropping out of college because you can't seem to attain the information or learn or get your studying down packed or understand what these teachers are talking about. It's okay. Don't quit right now. Don't quit. Stay in the game. Stay in the game. Stay in the game. I've quit before and it was not good. It was not fun. I felt bad. I felt miserable. I felt like I was not good enough. So, dropping out of school did that to me. Dropping out of school just messed up my mentality. The way I saw myself, I was like, I'm not smart enough. I can't do this. I can't do that. So going back to school has given me this confidence, and getting through these classes, getting through the hard classes, the difficult classes, I got through it, so, oh man, Mandy, without Mandy, I wouldn't be here. And I literally am saying that without joking, because this is where I am now. And, without being herself and, without even being creative, she volunteered for that, and she volunteered to be a part of that program. So she really did help me out. So know that your life matters. And like, whenever you make decisions in your life, it positions you and puts you in places for people to encounter your life. And that's what Mandy did for my life. I encountered her at UNC Charlotte. I did not know I was going to attend UNC Charlotte. I did not know I was ever going to meet Mandy, but she was there. And if she would have never went to UNC Charlotte, or she never went to Clemson, like, our lives are just unfolding in front of us. And it's amazing when you look back over your life and you see, why the connections were made, why Mandy was my teacher at that time, why was she there helping me, and now she was on my show. So, and she brought me back to her class to speak to her students. We forgot to talk about that, Mandy, but it's okay. But yeah, she brought me back to her class to speak to her students, to give them kind of inspiration and motivation, to show them that, look, yeah, I was on academic probation. I was about to be put out of school because my GPA was low. And now I've picked it up. I've picked up my grades. I've done better. Okay. So don't give up, and don't give up on your kids. If they're struggling in college, reach out to me and have them talk to me. I'll talk to them for free. Like, I'll just talk to them, have a conversation, talk about ways that they could, get back on track. We could talk to Mandy. Mandy will give us some pointers, whatever it is. Like, don't be out there on your own struggling. If you're going through a struggle in your career change, Mandy made that career change. So don't be afraid to make those jumps. But first, be responsible. Know what you can and can't do. Know your capabilities. Like Mandy said, know what you can and can't do. Do not lie to yourself about what you can and can't do. And never doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself for a second. Be who you are. If you smell, it's okay. You smell and we love you. But I'm just playing. Don't smell. Go ahead and wash. But be yourself. Be who you are. Don't change who you are for anyone, okay? So join us again on the Purpose Pod on Tuesday. So I'm going into Tuesdays only starting in June. So every day I've been doing this for, 2 months, March 21st till now, May 29th. And I've been doing it every day. Throw it in some Saturdays and a Sunday here. But, like, I love the Purpose Pod. I love inspiring people. I love hearing people's stories. And I really enjoyed hearing Mandy's story today. So if you guys did not catch the whole thing, please go back. If you're inspired, please like and share the video. If you're inspired, please go on the Purpose Pod on Facebook, like the Purpose Pod. I really do appreciate you all. I appreciate you tuning in. Miss Mary, what up? Auntie Mary, how you doing, Auntie Mary? I had to see the whole name at first. I'm about to say Miss Mary. Auntie Mary, what up? David, what up? Asia, what up? Hope you guys are having a blessed day. Pastor Tolliver, what up, everybody? I don't know who's all still on right now, but I really do appreciate you all for joining in on the Purpose Pod. I'm really trying to get this podcast to boom, to launch. So if you go on YouTube, look up the Purpose Pod, subscribe to the Purpose Pod. Auntie Mary is Auntie Mary because she has had my back as well. And I'm going to take this time right now for you, Auntie Mary, to tell you thank you for all you've done for me since Iraq or Afghanistan. Like, you've just been in my corner. You've supported me in many ways. And I really do appreciate you as well, because without you, I would not have made it this far as well. So there's just a whole lot of people that have played big parts of my life, man. And without you all, I would not be this guy right here. I would not be Alan Simmons on the Purpose Pod. I would not have written my book. So Auntie Mary, thank you as well. Mandy, thank you as well. And to everyone else out there, my dad, Levi Simmons, just hopped on. What up, Pops? Thank you so much for being a great father. I'm just giving out the shout outs. If you want to shout out, put up your name. I'm just playing. I'm about to get off. So I love you guys. Dad, go back and watch the whole thing. Love you guys. See you guys later. Peace.